Okay, before I get any farther, I figure I show the progress on what I'm doing to this Camaro and what I've been trying to fix and do. First things first is obviously the body here. I painted metallic blue, and then I painted the front of it gloss black. I just taped it off and painted that gloss black. I got the Camaro emblems on there, the Z28, the reflectors, side Camaro, painted the door handle black, the rear. I painted black around the windows on the windowsill. I might have to do that again. I just did it with a hand brush. I got the Z28 back here. And I got a Camaro here. There is no decals with this kit to do this. So what I did is I took a toothpick and just lightly put some paint on it, on the side of it, and just went sideways and lightly just kind of like dry brushed it. And I did that very slowly for all 4 decal emblems. I still have the bar down here. It's supposed to be chrome. I was paint that black. I will do that when I'm done messing with the car, because otherwise I'm going to touch it 3,000 times and then get paint everywhere. So I will do that later. But this is the body so far. I got the hood sitting over there with the special engine. Trying to do this looking through my camera. So that's what the hood will look like. This is a 3D printed hood from Iceman's Collections, as well as the fender skirts that will be going on here. So those will be on there, and that's for the front. I have them marked for right driver's side. Oh, that one I painted over, but I got them for the back too. It'll focus off my finger, but so I got the fender skirts and those. And then I also have the window cover that is also from Iceman's Collections to go over the back window here. So that'll sit on there like that. Put that to the side. Let's see. I got the radiator, reservoir, and the battery all painted up and ready to go. I just painted the one wire red. I painted this white and then clear blue. That's a clear piece. Nothing really else to this. I painted the front and back bumper gloss black. So there'd be very little chrome on here except for the wheels. I have not decided which front grille I want to use yet, so I'm kind of leaving it till the end. I really don't know which one I want to use, which one will look the best. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but I don't know yet. If I do use this one, I'm going to paint the headlights either yellow or blue with the clear. Just so it looks like they're on. I did have to rip the steering linkage off in order to get the engine to fit. However, if I cut the very top of this off, I can put this on top and it'll look like it's sitting in there. So I can do that. I haven't decided yet. I got this little piece here that goes in between the body and the radiator. The interior, I did a little flocking. I put some flocking down for the floor in the back here. This got scraped off because I was trying to fit it into the body and making sure everything fits. But once it's together, you won't see that. This is medium blue with, so this is medium blue. That's what the flat is here, with clear blue sprayed over top of it. And that's how I got that look. And for the blue on blue, I left the center console black. There is no decals for the gauges. If I can get this focus. So I just use a silver marker. I put a gold dot in the middle of the steering wheel. And then I did silver and gold trim with the medium blue in the middle for the door panels on both sides. So that's how that's gonna look. But I like how this turned out. I did the little Camaro emblem on the dash too. But this turned out okay. Like it. Then put that there. Here is the firewall. I just weathered that up with the silver, orange rust, and burnt umber. Painted this silver and bronze, or copper. Sorry, that is copper, not bronze. That's the firewall there. This is another 3D print by Iceman, the LSA supercharged engine, which I finished this a long time ago and then decided that I wanted to put it in this car. So I went and got the fenders, the hood, and the rear window louvers and painted up, put it together, and I've been just kind of waiting to put it in this Camaro. But this will be in there. And obviously, because it's the engine that does not belong, I had to do some tearing apart and grinding and making things fit. So there is a piece that's supposed to go down in here for the, pretty much like the brackets that hold the engine. I had to grind all that away. I was pretty much better off not putting it there at all, just to make it fit. I cut the little nub off of here that's supposed to go into the back of the transmission off. It'll just sit flush. I had to grind away a couple injector pin marks like these. They were a little too high, so I just grinded them off. And if I flip this over, I got different wheels and different tires. I got in my extra box spare parts. I just switched them out. So I got some Polyglass Goodyears and then Race Masters on the back. But this is what underneath looks like. I weathered this up too. I did mess up in a couple of spots because I was trying to do it on camera. I didn't do it right, but it worked out just fine. I got the shocks painted yellow. I lifted the rear suspension with, where'd it go? A couple tire. So these are actually inserts for Tamiya tires from their kits. I got an extra one in a spare kit. I've been holding on to these. So I cut 2 of these off and they actually worked to perfect height. And I inserted them in between the body and the suspension arm and raised it a little bit, and it worked perfect, just fine. I gotta put some black in the exhaust so it looks like it's not one piece, but that's what I used just to raise it. It worked just fine. That's why I always keep spare parts and spare things. But this is the bottom of the car. And that's really all that I have to show for now. Let's see here. Put this back. No. Here's the rear bumper. It's just painted blue, clear blue. I do have the original engine sitting here. I just painted it flat orange. I figured I would just do it up with something or make it a rusty, dusty, worn, torn, something, I don't know yet. But I have the engine, I got the parts. I figured I might as well build it and put it on display somewhere for something. So that's sitting there like that. I still have all the pieces. I'll just put it together later. But that is everything for this car for now that I have done. This will probably be my last custom out of the box build. Everything else will just be from the box because it gets a little tiring trying to figure out and customizing everything and changing everything and trying to make everything fit. But other than that, the next time I come back, I will have a little bit more progress done. Alrighty, and here is the 69 Camaro all put together. It's all done. I got all the 3D printed parts on there, the hood, the side vents, the rear window louvers, and the engine's in there. I got the extra grill sitting on the side because I was still undetermined on which one I wanted to use. So I put the one with the headlights poking out, I got that sitting in there. I can put the other one in there. It's just a little bit more of a fight. So right now it's sitting on the side, but I will have a picture of it later. This actually was kind of fun to put together. It wasn't as difficult as the last two for putting on and cutting everything and trimming and trying to make things fit. So this one was easier for me, at least. And I got the, you can see I got the different wheels and tires on there to make it look nice. The Race Masters and the Polyglass Goodyears. The interior looks really nice. The back and front chrome bumpers I painted gloss black. Underneath is weathered. I got 1/16 rubber hose here with some lead wire in there bent to keep it to shape. Used to extend the exhaust to the headers because obviously they don't fit right. And then it looks pretty nice. I mean, I can just paint those silver to make it match the rest. I may or may not do that later. Then here is that engine that's in here. Sitting very nice. The another thing I had to do, like I said before, was just get rid of that bracket that goes on over top here inside. I could have just did without it and everything would have been fine, but I just had to rip that off. Everything else went in there nice. I did the steering link, I did cut in half to put on top because the bottom half won't fit because the header is in the way. But other than that, it works. I got the fit in there. This does look nice. So I like how it turned out. I'm happy with it. So this is like my, I don't know, 10th, 11th 69 Camaro that I made, from the big scale to the little ones, and I don't know, I guess this would be my favorite car, as you can tell. Maybe if I decide later, I'll put them all together, like a little montage to show all the ones that I made. But other than that, this is pretty much it for me talking about the car. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, I do appreciate it. I still post the photos on my Instagram and TikTok first, so if you see them on there, go and check them out. Let me know which grill you like better. Like I said, I'll have the photos of those at the end. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next.